Hi, I'm Angela Ryder. Thanks for joining me today. Have you ever felt like you're doing a lot of inner work and checking in with your intuition? You're reflecting, asking for guidance, but somehow you keep circling around the same questions? Sometimes that happens because movement without direction turns into repetition. Like we can keep looking at the same thing over and over again, and it feels like growth, looks like growth, but energetically, it can become kind of like spinning in circles. And this is kind of what I mean. Like you're starfishing and out energetically. You're just laying out there and saying, okay, universe, I surrender. And your energy spreads out and you're moving, but it's like in a circle. You just keep shifting your perspective just a little bit, but it's not really getting into the depth or getting actionable items. We're just kind of like a starfish floating. And maybe you are floating down the river, but you're floating with the current and bumping into things without any real forward momentum or direction. It's more like ping pong instead of floating and allowing the ease and flow to guide you with real forward motion. And, it's one thing to have reflective space versus drifting out or zoning out, because we take that reflective space, we integrate, we look at it, how we can restore ourselves. But if we stay in that integrative space, that contemplative space too long without taking a step, again, it becomes that spinning space. And if you're constantly revisiting the same question, idea, or from different angles, but not actually moving forward, it is just like studying the sidewalk in front of you or the same rock that comes around again and again. It might be wetter this time, drier this time, the sidewalk might have more cracks this time, but ultimately, you're not using any information to move you forward. Sometimes what we call flowing with life is just actually staying in space and spinning out. And there have been periods of time where I was journaling a lot and reflecting and checking in with my guidance. And I felt like I was really working through something, like I was getting deep. And after months of doing this, I realized nothing had shifted. I felt like I was getting stuff done, but I wasn't moving or taking action. I was just telling myself I was going deep, but it was more like, again, exploring the sidewalk. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it chipped? What's the path look like here? I knew the spot where I was really, really well from all angles. But the spot was just the same revisiting, the same insight from different angles, waiting for clarity to feel complete before I could take an action. And I counsel this all the time. The truth is, clarity often doesn't show up until you actually take a step or start moving. You need to actually decide that you're going to get out of the water, dry off, and take a step, or get in the boat and go down the river and guide yourself down. Or if you're on that sidewalk and you really know that sidewalk well, take what you do know and take the next step down the street, get to the corner, look around the building. Because from that perspective, you've actually moved. You told the universe that you're ready to take action, and they can put things in place for you. And so the clarity comes when you've made that decision and choice to take a step. Here's the thing. Engagement without direction becomes a loop. Clarity requires engagement, but engagement without direction just becomes, again, that circular loop. And we can be checking in all the time and journal and meditate. But if we're not acting on what we know and what the guidance is, we're just going to keep getting answers about the topic, about the same level. Not making a choice is a choice, but you have choice. You can use this information. If this sounds familiar, notice, are you asking the same questions repeatedly to your guides? Do you keep seeking validation from others or checking in for a signee or sign? Are your meditation and journaling or downloads feel repetitive, like same answers but from different angles? And are you waiting for certainty before acting? And again, awareness without movement can feel like you're doing something, but it's still just spinning in space, in place. So you might be able to break that loop a little bit if you say to yourself and ask these questions. What direction am I actually moving in right now? Am I in circles? Am I just stagnant? Or do I feel like I'm ready to start? Regardless of readiness or perfection, you feel like you're done being stuck and looping. And this is really important. You have to ask yourself, am I acting on the guidance I've already received? Like, if it has anything come up and you just have been ignoring it, you can start there. You can be truthful about yourself. It's like, okay, my guides keep telling me to do this, but I just keep ignoring it. I understand. I've done it. But it's a good thing to ask ourselves, because if we're not doing the task and action, then yes, we're not being honest about the direction we're actually going. Or you might even be able to ask yourself, am I actually exploring or am I repeating? And did that reflection reveal anything actionable? Because if you're exploring, there should be something new that's revealed that you can actually take a step on. But if you're just repeating, you just add more of the same to the pile and still ignoring it. So you can take a look at your answers to those questions and just say, okay, even if I thought I wasn't ready, even if I've been stuck, even if I've been looping and swirling and hanging out and trying to go with the flow, just ask, what is that one small step I can take now based on what I already know? Everything that I feel and I'm being shown and I'm being told. Because even that one small action will signal to your intuition, your spirit team, your higher self, and the universe that you're ready to move. And not just in a circle, but with direction. Because movement with direction leads to development and insight and clarity and your next step. So right now, there's an invitation showing up through the Aries energy. The sun is ready to go into Aries, and we've already got the Neptune and Saturn there. And with this sun energy, it's the beginning of the astrological season, that initiating energy. And if we look at it as Neptune sitting there brings inspiration, dreams, imagination, curiosity. It's going to spark our vision. If we're been really stuck, what you can do is just say, my next vision is to take one step forward towards what I already know, and then reassess, but not loop out, and just take the next thing that comes. So Neptune is sparking that vision. But Neptune can kind of get loosey-goosey. So having Saturn there is perfect, because Saturn takes this inspiration and ignition, and it gives us a container, a structure, a way to create systems so that we can take those practical steps within the framework. And then just in general, Aries energy invites us to move with direction, to take action, to create change. And it's okay if it's only the first step in a direction of self-authorized choice. To wrap this up, reflection is valuable. Receiving intuitive insight, processing downloads, assessing your research and exploration, those are all important. But growth really only happens when that awareness becomes movement that has direction. Movement without direction is repetition. Movement with direction is discovery. And sometimes the next step or level of clarity only appears once you choose the direction and start walking. If you're feeling stuck, spinning, or unsure of your next step, I offer sessions to provide guidance and perspective so you can gain clarity and take your next step. You can learn more and schedule a session at angelaryder.com. Thanks for being here.